Hello guys, welcome. I am SimUK and this is Tourist Bus Simulator. Now I'm very privileged to be able to show you this before release day, and yeah, this is definitely a game you're going to be interested in. If you felt like Fernbus Coach Simulator was lacking in depth, then Tourist Bus Simulator is going to absolutely blow your mind. It has mine, and I am not kidding. So it is basically a subset of Fernbus Coach Simulator. It has a lot of the same content. The coaches are the same, the driving feel and aspects of the coach are the same. So that's all been transferred over very nicely. But now we're in Fuerteventura, so we have a very different driving experience, and it's really good. It really changes things up. And I'm telling you now, it will challenge you as a player. So if we go into settings, you can see that it's all pretty much the same. One thing I did want to show you that's different, I'm hoping they're going to change this green and yellow colour to be blue and yellow like this, just to differentiate between Fernbus Coach Simulator and Tourist Bus Simulator. You'll see that the logo or the heading for this is covering the logo of the game. It's not the finished article. There is still work to be done. There is still updates and developments and stuff coming. So it's kind of like early access. Although when they release it, I don't know if they're going to call it early access. They should have done that with Fernbus Coach Simulator. I'm kind of hoping they're going to do it with Tourist Bus Simulator. But in terms of what Fernbus Coach Simulator was like when it came out and what Tourist Bus Simulator is going to be when it comes out, gargantuan. This game has so much content. The one thing I did want to show you, other than being almost completely identical in every way, shape or form, is this. We now have cars in the game. So there's your first change. There's your first extra layer of content that you can really get your teeth into. So let's start a new game and I will show you everything that Tourist Bus Simulator is bringing to the table. And I tell you what, you better be hungry because there's going to be a lot to chew over. So here we are guys. When you're selecting a new campaign, you will get the option to pick your character. Now there's 3 male and 3 female characters to pick from. You can't change their outfits, you can't change their face or hair or anything like that. You merely pick a character and away you go. You get to enter your name, and this is how you'll be referred to in-game. And you get to pick the control type, so arcade, realistic, or a combination of the two. I'm going to go full realistic. And this is it. This is where we start. This is the airport of Fuerteventura. Pretty much the hub of the entire island. Everybody who comes to Fuerteventura will come here via this airport pretty much. Now most of what you see here is pretty much cosmetic. There's not much you can do, but you will be picking up and dropping off tourists and passengers from this location quite often. Now I think it's been put together rather nicely. Some of the shops are better than others. You can see there's a bit of content over there, actually modelled. Some of these areas are actually modelled. Auto rentals, for example. It sounds pretty good. It sounds very much like I'm actually in an airport. Some very nice statues there. One thing I would like to see that isn't currently in place, and I don't know if it ever will be, but if this ATM would allow you to see your own finances, that would be excellent. But having said that, it's really quite nicely modelled. It's big, it's loud, it's authentic, and the aircraft actually take off from here. You can actually watch them take off, which is pretty awesome, I think. Let's head outside and jump in the car. And there's one thing I've got to do because my Cytec side panel and my G29 have for some reason turned off. So give me a second whilst I just figure this out. But this is Fuerteventura. You can see all the mountains in the background. It's very much a deserty, rocky, hilly area. And this here is our car. I'll show you it in more detail in a moment once I've reconnected my G29. Okay, so I've restarted the PC. Hopefully everything is working now. Let's jump in the car and try again. I've been trying to do this for 5 hours now. I've just deleted 5 hours of content because none of it had any game audio. This is my last try. I'm going away this evening, so it really is my last try. So hopefully Hopefully we get some content out of it, but if it's all crappy and choppy, I do apologise. I haven't got time to do anything about it. Plenty of other YouTubers, maybe go and check them out instead. Here we go then. Indicators on, and away we go. Now the car itself, as I say, its handling is appalling. It's a bit like driving a bumper car. There's like nothing, way too much. But I'm sure they'll work on that and fix that. I have been told it's just really a placeholder at the moment, and that improvements are to be expected, which is great to hear. But yeah, I mean, have a look around at the environment. You can see this looks very different from Fernbus Coach Simulator. Certainly there are similarities. Some things you'll see and you'll think, oh yeah, I recognise that. That's from Fernbus or whatever. But in terms of the modelling, I mean, we've got the airport here. The aircraft do actually take off from the airport, which is cool. Now the sat-nav you see is just switched to send me down that road down there. That's a bug in the game. I have highlighted it to TML. They will be addressing it. There was another one the other day that I pointed out to them. They fixed that already, so that's good. It is going to release in a state where a bit of work is still required, a work in progress. Bugs will be identified and fixed, and as quickly as possible. So if you do see anything during the videos that's a potential bug or an issue or whatever, please just let me know in the comment section, and I'll happily pass that information on to TML. Dude, seriously. Yellow van drivers, unbelievable. Right, so this is the newest, coolest thing. You have to forgive me, I've already done this once today. 5 hours I've been playing this game, and yeah, it's when you've said something so many times, you kind of forget to say it because you know you've already said it. But this is our company headquarters. That's right, we have company headquarters. How cool is that? I'm not sure what the policey looking vehicle is all about, but this is where our base is going to be. So we need to enter a company name. I'm going to go for Sim UK Holes. That is our company name, and this is our company location. So if we go into the office, which we can see is very nicely modelled. What's a bit weird is you don't have to open any of the doors, they just open for you, but that's a minor thing. So let's go to the computer and buy our first bus. Now this is an important thing. Click on this button to open the second-hand vehicle market, then choose one of the available vehicles, details, and the buy option will then be displayed. Click and hold the buy button until you have purchased the vehicle. The vehicle will appear in the fleet list. So, second-hand vehicles, I'd say the menu system was pretty intuitive. It's been really nicely done. Now, one really cool thing, and you have to forgive me, I've done this already today, so I feel like I'm just repeating myself constantly, but each coach has a set of status or indicated status. So the condition of the bus includes the oil change, the tyre change, the V-belt change, the brake lining, and then you've got components which also include bodywork, toilet, Wi-Fi, wipers, engine, air conditioner, indicators and lights. Any of this can fail at any time, and it does need to be maintained by your staff. Now, apologies, in the background you'll see that I'm strafing to the left. That's a bug I've raised with TML, and it's only going to affect people like me who use their steering wheel to strafe. So if my steering wheel isn't perfectly centered when I click on this, then I will be constantly moving one way or the other. So I have asked them to disengage that, but for now I'll just reset my wheel and that will stop it. So what we need to do, this is good, all green. Yeah, look at the state of the inside. The lights don't work. There's a 28% body damage. Now, ordinarily, this would be fine. You know, it would be fun and entertaining to take on a coach that needs a bit of work and so on and so forth. The very first time I played the game, I got a coach that was very cheap, 75,000 I think it was, and it was in mint condition. There was nothing wrong with it at all. So I was really lucky. It had high mileage, but other than that, it was fine. Now, taking on a coach that needs a bit of work seems like a good idea, except for the fact that during this introduction/tutorial period, you cannot actually hire an engineer to repair any of the coach's issues. So the problem with that is, if your coach is too badly damaged, then it won't let you drive the routes that you need to drive in order to progress the game. So at this point, it's quite an important decision to make. I imagine when the game is fully released or whatever, they'll take that into consideration and just try and make sure that at least one of the coaches is usable. I don't know, or maybe have an option. I think I just looked at the same coach three or four times there. Maybe have a coach that can yes, we found one. Right, we'll buy this. Perfect. Maybe have a coach an option whereby you can skip the tutorial, but there is so much to learn, you are going to need it. So now we need to go to the harbour and pick up our coach. Click on this button to skip time to your next appointment. In this case, the time skips to the pickup day. Alternatively, you can also pick a day in the calendar to skip time. So that's when we're picking the coach up. So let's skip to that day and let's go pick it up. Oh, it's the other side. Now, this is the workshop, by the way, guys. If we just stick our heads in here, you can see, there's enough space to reverse a coach in here. And once you've got some employees, they'll come in. I assume they're going to be milling about, but there's a bug in the game at the moment that stops me from getting that far. Hopefully it will work this time round, but we'll see. So I haven't actually seen this in action yet. I am excited to see how that all works. Let's jump in here. Start the engine up. Into reverse, and away we go. Now the mirrors in game are quite clear, but I don't feel like the zoom is good enough. And you'll see as we're driving around, there are other buildings. So like there's a gym here. As I understand it, you can use that for your employees to make them happier and keep them healthier. There's also a restaurant here. I think you can buy some businesses and supplement your income with them. And the key thing is, yes, I see that floating car. Bugs like that will be fixed over time, basically. But anything like that you spot today, please let me know in the comments section, and that will help TML-Studios to identify and fix these problems in the future. So you've already seen the airport, you've been inside the airport, you briefly saw the outside. We will be coming back round again in this episode in order to see that. So you will get to see it in all its finery. You might even be lucky enough to see an aeroplane take off. That does happen. That is a thing. Oh dude, come on, go. I have a bit of an issue with the AI cars at the moment. This being Fuerteventura, you'll find that the roads are very steep, very tight, very narrow, and very windy. Now, sometimes it's great if the AI stops and lets you out, but what I've been finding so far is that they kind of they stop too much. They give you a bit too much leeway, and they actually end up getting in your way. So I have raised that with TML. I'm hoping they'll be able to do something about that. But most of the time the AI is fine. It's just occasionally they try and help and actually hinder you. That's an aircraft taking off. I don't think I'll be able to show you without crashing. Oh, I couldn't see it. I missed it. But just to confirm, you can have an outside camera or the inside camera. Another feature I have asked TML to look into is the ability to have the external camera fixed at your last held location. You see there that the camera spins back round to the back of the car. I'd much prefer it if it held its position, and you'll see why that's so important in a minute when we do our first run. Another restaurant there. Now, apologies if I'm not pointing out and highlighting things particularly well. You're just going to have to look at the scenery yourself. I am very short of time now. I've already spent 5 hours on this video recording today, and this is my absolute last chance. I might not even get all these videos up. And I tell you what, hand on heart, if I can't get a video out to you on Tourist Bus Simulator, then I'm packing YouTube in, because my PC is constantly failing on me. It's an absolute pain in the ass. My wife is a pain in the ass. She comes in, turns all the lights on, opens all the windows. That ruins my audio. That stops the head tracking from working. So many issues, so many things constantly getting in my way, and it's such an uphill battle. And that would be fine if I was successful, but I'm not. I'm crap. I'm not a very good YouTuber at the best of times. So yeah, if I don't get this video out to you today, you'll never see another video from me after next week, because that's all the videos I have pre-recorded is up to next week. So yeah, I don't even know why I'm saying that, because if I don't get this video up, you won't hear it. Anyway, here is our coach. I'm having a bad day. Turn the engine off, put the handbrake on, let's get out. Now, the seagulls at the port are way too loud, and the audio engine is in need of a bit of work. I complained about this to TML already. They have improved it considerably since last week, but I think there's still a bit more work could be done there. The coach that you see here is a Lions coach from MAN. Quite often you can buy second-hand C-Class, which is the double rear axle. So yeah, I mean, the whole coach aspect of the game is identical to Fernbus. The feel, the look, the options, all identical. Now, if you listen to the audio of the seagulls, it gets quieter when the door's shut. Okay, only does it when the door's open. Let's open the door so I can show you this. So the audio engine is a bit too abrupt in my humble opinion. It's great that the audio drops at certain points, but if you listen halfway down the coach, you can really hear it jump. Did you hear that? I'll do it one more time. Damn, that guy dropping that pole at that time. Right, ready? Listen to the seagulls. You see how that suddenly jumps up? I just find that to be a bit too abrupt. I'd like to see that changed and improved if possible, but we shall see. Now, there is force feedback in the game. The force feedback in the coach is vastly better than the force feedback in the car, but as I mentioned, the handling in the car is terrible at the moment, and it's acting as nothing more than a placeholder. Let's get this coach going. Now, Fuerteventura is a very tight, narrow, hilly area, so driving your coach here is really going to test your skills. Really going to test your skills to the absolute limit, and then a little bit beyond. The AI, as I mentioned, 80 to 90% of the time they're absolutely fine. On occasions they do stop, I assume, in order to let you out, but what they actually do is just get in the way, and then the car comes up behind them, they stop, and that just exacerbates the situation. So I think a little bit more work could be done there. I'd say 90% of the time when you're at a T-junction, you just want the cars that are coming just to drive past you and not stop at all, because when you pull out on these very tight, narrow roads with a coach, you do kind of need to go into the oncoming traffic lane in order to have enough width and space to swing the actual coach round. So there is that. There's a lot of stuff you can buy. I don't think boats are on the menu at the moment. I said I'd throw in a bit of speculation, so maybe one day, who knows, you might be able to do that. Now, I took that rather wide there, and I was lucky nothing was coming. last time I drove this, there was like no AI on the roads at all, and I do wonder whether that's intentional from TML, because they want... Where's my head? Oh, activate destination. I wish they'd get rid of that bloody thing as well. I hate that. It totally gets in the way of where I'm driving. I do wonder whether TML have deliberately turned off AI for this very first drive, because driving these tight little narrow roads is quite tricky. The first time I did it, I bumped into a whole host of stuff. So I do wonder whether they turned off... You see, there's no AI anywhere. So I do suspect or feel like maybe they've turned them off for this very first drive back, so that you've got a chance to see how the coach feels on these tight roads and sort of get a taste for it before all hell breaks loose. But I could be wrong. It could just be a coincidence that every time I do this, there's no AI. I can't be sure one way or the other. If they have done that, it's quite cool actually, because it is a challenge to drive on these tight little roads. You will need to be aware of everything. The key one for me is that front rear view mirror on the right hand side. Oh god, distracted myself. I catch that on a million things. I just always forget it's there and fail to drive appropriately. Now you'll see in a moment when I park this up at our base that it's quite tight even here. Is my car being returned yet? Yes, it has. Look at that. So magically my car is back, which I'm not sure if I like that or not, but you know, that would be really picky to moan about that, wouldn't it? Let's see if we can reverse this bad boy. Now, something that occurred to me earlier, there's a big pole there that I keep hitting. I'm desperately trying not to hit it right now. Gotcha. Just. Yeah, one thing I thought of earlier when I was playing was, how cool would it be if this reverser were actually able to tell you how close you are to hitting a wall? So if it started beeping louder and louder and louder and faster the closer you got to the wall, that would be a great feature to add. So I'm going to chuck that in as a suggestion to TML, but again, that's just a suggestion from me. That's certainly not something they're confirming is coming. Right, enter your office, the first trip. Here we go, guys. Very excited about this. Go to the fax machine to get your first order. Fax machine. Who has fax machines these days? Click on this button to see the available orders. Then click on an order and confirm it. You can find your accepted orders by clicking on this button. Pretty straightforward stuff. I don't even think you need that introduction, to be honest. It's so easy to navigate the menus. I think they've done a pretty damn good job of these. Failed orders, completed orders, new orders. And we've only got one to start with, so we'll select that. Open the calendar again and skip to the time of the next appointment. Let's do that, which is tomorrow. So here we go. Board your bus, and we're going to go on our first trip. Now I've got something really exciting to show you. If I can't resist. I've probably already shown you at the beginning of this video, but passengers actually walk on the bus now, and they get off as well. Now there's a bit of an issue here, something I'm not overly impressed with. Well, I say not overly impressed with, like, why is that not bringing... Oh, that's as low as it goes. It's just a disappointment, but I mean, it's a work in progress, so I mean, I'm not trying to be negative. They get on and off the coach, which for an immersion perspective is absolutely sensational. But for some reason, when you finish a trip and you're letting off the last of the passengers, they don't get off the bus, they morph off the bus. So I'm not sure why that is. It could just be an oversight, and I'm sure it's going to get fixed at some point. But having experienced that wonderful moment of them getting on and off the bus, it's such a shame that the recording I did earlier didn't work, because last week, the last time I played this game, that wasn't the case. They were morphing on and off the bus. So when I saw it today for the first time, I did yelp and jump around a bit like a bit of a lunatic, get overexcited, and then talk about how amazing that was for about half an hour, I think. So you're going to miss out on the excitement that I experienced when I first saw that today. But that is why I want to be able to lock a camera in this position, so I can just pull up, out of gear, handbrake on, open the door, and we get to see this wonderfulness. Look at that, guys. Not only do they get on, they actually walk down the bus, and what happens is that at the moment they go right to the end and then they ping into a seat randomly all over the bus, and when they get off they do exactly the same thing in reverse. Obviously that could be slightly improved if they pinged into their seat when they get to their seat, but I am just so happy to see that happening that I don't care right now. 6 weeks from now I'll be saying, why don't they sit down when they get to their seat? It's so annoying that it doesn't that they don't do that. But anyway, that is now a feature, and I am absolutely certain that in the next couple of weeks to months at the most, you will find that feature popping its way over into Fernbus, and I am so glad that they have finally done that. Right, let's go pick up the next lot of our passengers. I think we're going to swing by the airport. Again, the amount of traffic is pretty low. I mean, there is traffic now, whereas before there was none at all. But yeah, I do just wonder if they're maybe filtering it automatically just to ease you into the game. Now, you forgive me, I've driven this route a few times today already. And my throat is drying up because I've been speaking non-stop for 5 hours, so I am a little bit hoarse. I do apologise. Look at this, a bus lane. How wonderful is that? Now as you get closer to the airport, you can hear the audio from inside permeates out. Excuse me. I'm not a massive fan of that, but I can accept it. Last week, when we were beta testing, that was really prominent. I could hear it over the other side of the car park there, and it was really loud. And it came in so abruptly, it was, you know, quite intimidating. It was like being punched in the face. It wasn't fun at all. I didn't like it. I complained about it. TML have dealt with it. The handbrake didn't come on. If you put the handbrake on the car when you parked it, when you got it in again, the handbrake would be off. Told TML, they fixed it. They've literally fixed so many things. The indicators, the gears in the car. If you tell TML about an issue, they will do their absolute best to fix it. So please, if you see anything or have any ideas or suggestions, let me know in the comments section. I will pass it on to them. They will be grateful for your feedback. They're not like most development companies in the world. They actually care about their game, and they do want it to be as brilliant as possible. So please help them to achieve that. Get out of gear, handbrake on, open the doors. Watch this, guys. Watch this. Now, why did they morph on? Here I am saying how wonderful it is to see passengers getting on and off the bus, and then they go and morph on like that. So clearly there's a bit of a small issue there. Oh, this is one other issue. On this particular platform, they just stand by the coach for some unknown reason. They do disappear. And it is a work in progress, so we'll give them some leniency because it is a new feature, obviously. Let's move on to the next one. You can see all of these repaints are new. They're specific for this game, and although I don't have confirmation of it, I can pretty much guarantee that we will be able to create and upload repaints to the workshop. So you will be able to have your own personalised skin for your coach, for your bus company. Absolutely certain that that is going to be a thing. Whether it's there right at the beginning, I can't say for sure, but most definitely. Am I stopping here? I don't think I am I? Am I meant to be stopping here? I don't know. Right, I'm going to just stop very quickly, just in case. I don't want to miss any passengers. Well, it looks like people are getting on and people are getting off, so... I'm not... Do you know what? I feel like this isn't meant to be a stop, but if you stop at any stop, whether or not it's on the route or not, I do feel like people would just get on and off. Because what was the point in all those people getting on the bus over the other side of the terminal and then getting off here? So yeah, I rather suspect that wasn't meant to be a stop. But there you go. It is a work in progress. Alrighty, let's press on. So if that is the case, oh, by the way, coach wash over there, we will probably get to that in about episode 4. Petrol station there for fuel purposes, obviously. Now, one thing this game doesn't currently have, which is a bit of a shame, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but when you have a business, really, if there's no competition, then there's no business, is the way I see it. I would love to see competitors trying to steal your contracts, maybe providing a better service than you, and then, you know, you've got to up your game, you've got to improve your fleet. That would be wonderful. It's not currently implemented, I don't think. Right, see, the sat-nav keeps changing, so I don't actually know where I'm supposed to be going now. Let's just press escape and look at the route. So, we picked him up from El Motoril, we went to the airport, we've missed out Puerto del Rosario Centro and Puerto del Rosario Centro. So, I think when I stopped at that second stop at the airport, it jumped all of these routes, all of these stops. So that is technically a bug in the game, and it's now sent me right to the last one. So it is still early access, guys. The sat-nav is bugged. I have pointed that out to them. They will be fixing it, but that was as much my fault as anything else. So it's a bit of a shame because I'm not going to be able to show you all the cool stuff in this episode. But don't fear, because the next route is even better than this one. This one is just going around the areas that we've already seen in this episode anyway. So join me for the next episode, where I will be driving in new areas on a new route and showing you a whole host of new stuff. There is so much more to show you than I've shown you already. You wouldn't believe the amount of content that this game has. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So let's pull in. This will effectively end our route. The first trip has finished. It's not meant to have gone like that, just to clarify. There were about 3 or 4 other stops that I was meant to stop at, but clearly by stopping at that second one I broke the loop. So there's a bug there, TML, you probably need to address that. You can see all my passengers have already got off, except for this one, and you can see when they finally get off the very last stop, A, they have suitcases with them, and B, they do morph off. So our service rating was 22%, we got 462 XP. Considering we didn't actually do the route, that's not a bad result. And having done the route a couple of times today, that is actually, I think, quite a good score. Handbrake off. Return the bus to our depot. Stay there, dude. I think I might go around the back here. It's not the way I'm meant to be going, but I don't think it's a problem. See, there's another restaurant eatery type thing there. Now I believe, in fact I know, that some accommodation you can buy, some hotels you can buy, and there's also furniture shops and stuff like that. Now, as I say, there is a bug in the game that stops me getting too far into it, but it sounds and seems like you'll be able to buy a property, furnish it, rent it out, and that'll be surplus income. Now I don't know that for sure, but everything I've seen so far does suggest and hint that that is going to be the case. So I'm saying that with slight hesitancy, and it is slightly speculative, but certainly it seems to be that that's going to be the case. Okay guys, so apologies for ruining that route ever so slightly, but part of my job, other than to show you how cool the game is and point out the bugs and make sure you know exactly what you're getting, is to find these bugs so that I can tell TML and they can fix them. That is what I should be doing. That is what I always try and do. If you don't like it, please go somewhere else and watch someone else's video, because that is effectively, I'm helping you by doing that. Thanks for watching today, guys. I can't wait to hear your feedback on this game. It's absolutely brilliant. Please join me for the next episode. You won't believe how much more I've got to show you. It's insane. Until then, take care. Goodbye for now. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate you coming along and taking the time to do that. I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who watched this video today. Special big thank you to our Patreons and supporters on Twitch. But everybody who comes and watches, you all count. You are all part of this, and I thank you so much. If you hit that like button, I will like you twice as much. Even more than that, perhaps. It is for you guys that I make these videos, so it matters to me a huge amount if you enjoy watching them, and if you don't, you need to tell me. So thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, until next time, goodbye for now.